If you want to win, you got to win all 15 minutes right here. You can't take your foot off the gas. And AJ, I do think that after Padilla, who I thought clearly won the first round of the fight, I think he took his foot off of the gas after that and just thought that, yeah, I'll just kind of point my way to a win. He does not have the greatest track record in decision results in his career. I believe now he's either 2-2 or 2-3 in decisions. And it's going to be tough to finish Kyle Nelson, even though he beat him up visually. What do you think about the 30-27 for Kyle Nelson?
Ridiculous, Derek. Absolutely ridiculous. Giving 30-27s. I think clearly, Padilla won that first round. But, I mean, optically, it's hard to argue with the fact that he did so good in the first round, and then you see Kyle Nelson coming back in the second round and sticking there and not taking a backward step, really jumping in. You think like, oh, okay, like I think the right man won this fight. Yeah. So it's easy to see how if somebody takes their foot off the gas from their point of view, it's actually what other people are seeing on the other side is that Kyle Nelson stepped his game up and he elevated him now. And that's why he's winning all those rounds and winning all those minutes is because he elevated himself and not necessarily that Padilla took his foot off the gas. So that optically right there, I'm not mad at. But the 30-27, man, the judges are wild on this whole card, man, top to bottom. First fight of the night to the last fight of the night. It has had some interesting calls for the judges. I mean, rules, we can say rules for so many years, Derek, and it's seems like it's always going to be a talking point. Mm-hmm. Do you feel it the same way, or is this something, there's a little more nuance going into this fight? What do you think?
Nah, I mean, I got a similar take. Once again, I think the right guy won, Kyle Nelson. If you look at Fernando Padilla, man, it's like he was throwing a lot. He threw way more than Nelson. He just missed a ton, right? So Nelson ended up outstriking him by about 10 strikes total while throwing probably like 30 less strikes. So it's pretty good efficiency right there. But yeah, judging-wise, I think that's a fair take, man. I think Padilla just got a little overconfident in what he was doing. Probably thought, I'm cruising to a victory right here. Bro, he was flexing. Yeah, I won. And then 30-27. I was like, yo, what? But 29-28 was the fair score right there. And that's the thing. One judge will mar the whole entire perception of the fight with just a bad scorecard out there. Either way, I think that Fernando Padilla, this is probably going to be a really big wake-up call for him. And I think that that's probably going to be one of the better things for his career because you come off of a nasty victory, right? In your last one against Julian Erosa. Then you fight an even more tested guy in Kyle Nelson. I mean, you know, tough sledding right there. Big win for Kyle Nelson. And listen, he wants to fight in Canada next and kind of get that resurgence going right here. So I guess the question to you is what role is Kyle Nelson serving, I guess, from like this point forward in his career?
That's a good question, Derek. What role will Kyle Nelson be serving, especially for the Canadian MMA fans? I mean, we have, the Dan Hardys, the GSPs. Could Kyle Nelson see himself being one of those kind of household names in the great land of Canada above? I think so. I mean, I think he could become one of those names, but I don't see him making the crossover to international stardom. But Canada's no slouch up there. They can scrap. They can get things done. Mm-hmm. I do think he'll be one of the ones right under that list of those two that I just listed off. What do you think, Derek? Is Kyle Nelson going to be the next Canadian star?
I'm not sure. Solid Canadian veteran. I'm not sure if Dan Hardy counts. I think he's British. I don't think he's Canadian.
Is he British? Okay.
Yeah, we might have to knock that one off. But GSP for sure, right? Either way, man, big win by the monster Kyle Nelson over the young Fernando Padilla. I'm sure he will bounce back.